All right. Hello, everybody. Say hi in the chat, and I will say hi back. We're going to let people filter in before we take a quick look at Advanced Frontends, the current curriculum, in the progress so far. We'll take a look at the projects that we have so far and also what's planned for the course. And of course, September 20th, literally 1 week from today, next Wednesday, we're going to have an early access 1 week period where you can join the course for a discounted price in order to access it while I'm recording. But yeah, say hi and let's get going. So yes, Chris Kerr, hello. Someone said let's go. Hopefully I am live already and not just talking to myself. Hello, Daniela. What is up? Shant, I believe, Noob 2 programmer. Hello, Patricia. Rig Boogle. Hello from Brazil. I'm in northeastern Ohio in the United States, and it's just like a drab place. But you know what? I've learned to live with it. I've been here all my life. It's sunny now, at least, but we're underneath those Great Lakes, so we get a massive amount of cloud coverage, during most of the year. All right. Okay, so we got a few people in here. We're just gonna go ahead and oh yeah, the new studio. The new studio. I tell you, that is a money pit. We're talking like $90,000. Things really got out of hand with the expenses. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to get it finished. Few months. But anyhow, let's go ahead and just take a look at what Advanced Frontends is. It's my third large course. The first one, of course, being the UI UX course that was released 2 years ago. I will be revamping that entirely here in 2024. But also the CSS course, which is released earlier this year or late last year. And then now we have Advanced Frontends, which is kind of just a natural progression from those two courses. So the UI UX course teaches you all about design, of course. And then the CSS course introduces you to coding with HTML and CSS. And then finally, JavaScript. And that's what Advanced Frontends is mainly about. It's about building awesome front ends that are interactive, that are animated, and are just kind of like wow your clients. If you have clients and you're building landing pages where it makes sense to do these sort of things like scroll activated animations and much, much more. So at this point in the course, so of course, September 20th, it's going to be releasing for 1 week early pre-access situation for a reduced price. And right now, at the time of me speaking, there's almost 4 hours in the course. But that's not counting the free JavaScript course, which is 2.5 hours long. You get on top of that if you want. So if you lack understanding of just basic vanilla JavaScript, then you could take that free JavaScript course right here, and you can actually take it right now, and it's up on YouTube. And so if you just go and create an account at designcourse.com, you'll get an access to this course right here. And so this is going to help you. This free course right here, it's going to help you just understand vanilla JavaScript basics. It's required understanding before you can get to advanced front ends. Advanced front ends is primarily teaching vanilla JavaScript. We're not using React or Vue, but I will include a couple modules showing you how to integrate GreenSock Animation Platform. And I'll talk about that in a bit about what that is within the context of a React and Vue app so that you can still follow along learning the principles of interactive front ends, and you could just apply it to different contexts like frameworks and libraries like that. And so here is the current curriculum. I need to finish this get started page, this intro. I usually do that at the end so that I know what to record based on what I included in the course. And then we go into GreenSock Animation Platform Basics. All right. So there's not just video here. Like all my courses, I usually have 3 different types of modules. I have video modules. I also have code modules. Like right here, we could see what the code module looks like. This is embedded editor. We spent a lot of time, or my developer rather, we spent a lot of time on this, and we have objectives here, and it just helps you kind of like, okay, here's the objective for this one. How do we create something very simple like this? And of course, the course starts off very simple so that you understand from the basics. But the projects that you learn, they all look good. Like this is a nice little button, right? So the challenge here, this is what we want to get to. And when you click start challenge, this is where we're at. Nothing happens. And so these challenges are a fun way to learn how to apply what you just learned in the previous video or videos and make it work here in the JavaScript. And it tells you the objectives over here, like give the inner circle a scale of 1 on mouse enter and 0 on mouse leave. Yeah, that's one objective. Here's another one. And it's just a fun way, you're not graded or anything, just a fun way just to apply what you've learned. And then the third module type, if we go back here, is the challenges. So I challenge you, and you get access to like a Figma document, and I tell you all the necessary requirements. So, like for here, I'm showing you in this context to do a sort of like really cool looking animated element on like a portfolio section of a website, like where you hover over things. So you're able to to tackle all this stuff. And if you get stuck on those challenges, guess what? There is a let me go down here. There's always going to be a video afterwards that shows you exactly how to do it. Uh, so that's where we're at in the course so far. Let me show you if I can get it uploaded. Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, okay. Let me real quickly just show you a video. Now, I don't think you're gonna hear audio, but you will see the projects. Maybe you haven't seen this yet, but this right here kind of shows off some of those initial projects. So this is like the very first project. It's just kind of like a loader. Here's another project. It's like, okay, how do we do that cool transform thing? Again, we're all learning about GreenSock basics basically right here. And again, what is GreenSock Animation Platform in case if you're unaware? It's basically a JavaScript animation library that takes away a lot of the required vanilla JavaScript to pull this type of stuff off. Um, and it just makes your life a million times easier, especially when you're trying to build these really interesting, interactive, modern front-end animations. And so, as you can see, each of these projects kind of gets progressively more difficult. I'll show you the last project where that the course is currently at. But again, the course isn't even 40% complete. I think we're probably going to get to at least 10 hours, and we're at like 4 hours right now. So you're going to have access to a lot to learn uh, when the pre-access period starts next week. But I'll keep on adding videos weekly until it's released to its full version, which you'll have access to without charge. You're getting one-time fee, early access, and then it'll be finished in about 2 months or so after that. Okay. So one thing I wanted to share before we start designing, and I'll take a look at the comments. I know people have been commenting. There's one more really cool one that this is like the last project. So I show you like in Figma, like this idea for a horizontal scroller, and then we make it work. And the fully realized version is actually really cool. So you scroll down and all this stuff comes up into place, and it's like, how do you create that? And I show you exactly how to do that. And plus, we have more examples coming up that's just in the course, full projects that are just they're going to be awesome. So I'm really excited for the course. Um, and right now at this point, and again, that's next Wednesday, you'll get an email. I'll upload a video on YouTube so you won't miss out. Some of you are probably wondering how much it costs. All my courses are by default like $99, but if you're from a certain country like Nigeria or India and probably about 30 others, you get a parity discount. It takes off 40%. And then I'll also have a discount specifically for the early access period if you choose to join early in that 1 week period. So I'll shut up now. I'm going to take a look at some comments, and then we are going to do this. This is something I have to do anyways. I decided I would live stream it. I have to create a quick landing page for this early 1 week access period. And so you can hang around in the chat with me while I design for maybe an hour. I may use it, I may not, because sometimes you just, your layouts, you don't have great ideas at first. So we'll see. We'll see what we come up with. All right. So let's see here. I'm checking out the chats. I just want to make sure I didn't skip over any. Let's do the pop out chat. That way we can just get it right here. Let's extend this, and then I will move things over. All right. Audio issue. That's not cool. All right. Checking out. All right. So scrolling down here. Echo in it. Well, that's not cool. It's not me. Sometimes it just happens. Hello, Kevin, the channel regular. Well, when it comes to other courses, I would assume you mean, Jonathan. Yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning, I will be revamping the UI UX course sometime in 2024 since it's 2 years old. I'll look at CSS as well, CSS course. Yeah. All right. Hi, Gary. Please, why is it your courses are monthly based when it comes to payment? No, that's not true. My courses are actually a one-time fee. And then if you want to join Mentor, which is the program where you can submit designs and I review them, that is a monthly. That's just a service that you can cancel at any time. It's like 50 bucks, and it's also cheaper if you find a discount. But my courses are just a one-time payment, and that's it. And you get permanent access to all current and future updates. All right. Awesome. Let's go ahead and I think the excess animations offer a bad user experience. 100% agree with that. There is such a thing as, integrating animation in a way that definitely makes a project better and more interesting. Does everything need to be animated? No, of course not. So that's one of the things that we'll be talking about. What are the things that you were covering in advanced front end courses? Well, I did just show you a preview of like what they are. So if you scroll back in the video, you scrub back, you should be able to see some of the projects. Those are the beginner projects, most of them. We're going to work our way to more elaborate examples. Sites like, awards.com, where they feature all those really cool websites, that's kind of the focus of this course. So if you ever go to awwards.com and you look at the site of the days and you browse through, you'll see a lot of these really cool, highly interactive websites. Now, are they all like the best thing ever? No. Some of them really overdo it with the animations. So again, that's going to be a strong focus of doing things correctly in this course when it comes to animation. Okay. Um, so let's go ahead and switch gears here. I'm going to start. This is something I have to do anyways. And like I said, I just want to live stream it. So if I look at my CSS course landing page, I don't want to deviate too far from the general aesthetic here, but I do want to, because this is going to be advanced front ends like teaching Greensock animation platform. I do want to integrate, interesting animations and stuff like that. So we're going to be using the same headlines and type and colors and all that. So I'm just going to grab some of that stuff over here, and we're just going to get started with what I think makes a sense for a 1 week early access period page, which is like I said, it's coming up here in a week, next Wednesday. So I haven't really thought about the content, the verbiage, or anything. So I'm a glutton for punishment. I put myself on the spot. We'll see if we can come up with something that makes sense. All right, so let's get started here. Um, let's think here. Headline. What would make sense? I do plan having like the advanced front ends, little animation, kind of like starting, like kind of just animating very quickly within a second or two, and then kind of revealing the UI. So for the actual, I don't want to get too caught up on the text right now and the ad copy, but I think I'll just start with something simple. Um, Build advanced front ends, and I have to mention, probably in the sub headline or somewhere prominent, that this is a 1 week early access period. Um, let's scale that down. It's a little bit large, so I'm probably going to go with like a 42. All right. I And again, I may not even center these. I'm just trying to get something out there just to spark something, some type of unique idea. Um, so 1 week early access. Let me go back to my CSS course. I think I do have like a tag component. So we'll get that in there. Uh, get this in there right there. Okay. So I'm not going to do an early access here. Probably get that into auto layout. This is so big that's screwing it up. Oh, okay. All righty. Early access, build advanced front ends. Okay. And I wanted to do kind of a more unique layout, not that your traditional, 2 column approach. I may end up using 2 columns, but I wanted to do something a little bit more interesting to make this, a more unique, sort of aesthetic than, what we're typically used to. All right, 46. So we get to see the stream come from your mind as it turns out something great. Okay, well, yeah, yeah, that's the yeah. Please, Gary, do you have a rack course? Yeah, I'm planning on that for sure in 2024. How many projects will we be making in advance? It's hard to answer. There's already like probably a dozen plus projects, and we're not even finished. So there's going to be a bunch of projects. Some people are saying I have audio issues, but there's literally nothing I can do about it. My volume's coming in good. So if there's audio issues, I can't deal with it. Unfortunately, sorry about that. All right. So build advanced front ends. Probably I'll come up with some better ad copy for that because it's a little bit boring and lame. Um, you really need, like, when it comes to your hero section of a landing page, you really need something that just grabs the user's attention, typically in the way of an illustration or animation or a photograph of some sort. Um, so I really want to think about that as well. I kind of want to have like an area where I have like 3 feature blips, but also a prominent call to action where we're trying to get people to join the course early. So I need to think about that as well. When it concerns visual hierarchy, you kind of have to worry about these things like early access. This looks like a button. My button will probably be that same color. So you don't want to confuse users. So I may have to rethink this. Um, Let me see what I have for the typical buttons right here. Okay, so I can do that right now. I'll take this one. All right, go in today. Now that's not good because we're using black up there. What I think would make more sense in this context is to take this, we'll make it white, but make the background maybe just a dark gray. Or take this text and we'll make it our primary color green. And for some reason that is, why is that so drab looking? Feels like that should be a little bit brighter. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that looks a lot better. They're not competing for space or attention, if you will. This is kind of a big join today button. So scale it down slightly. See here. Okay. Now, let's think here. What could I do in terms of something that's interesting? Hmm. I always hate this part. I hate not having an idea, especially while live streaming. Kind of makes your life a little bit more difficult. I might want to experiment with some lines in this. Let's remove that. Just like thin, perhaps low contrast lines. And because we're using the word advanced as the course itself, and you know what? Maybe trying to think here. I also need to get the logo. So if I open up Illustrator, that's where I design the logo. Yeah, let me look at some of these comments after a second. Hold on. Here's my logo that I made. There we go. Just copy that sucker, paste that sucker right in here. Okay, there we go. All right. So, trying to think here, where would it make sense to have the actual logo? Because we want that. So, when you're running into this situation where you have multiple elements, we have a tag, we have a headline, we have a logo, we have a call to action, and they're just not jiving with each other. It's all about just experimenting with placement and trying to find something that makes sense. Advanced front ends itself, this kind of lends itself into perhaps being a headline already. So if I just move this off, I try to think and try to be a little bit creative. I don't want to just that headline just to say or speak to advanced front ends because what does that mean? So I need to think about how I want to approach this. Let's see here. So maybe I could do a two column approach. Does it make sense to put this here, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe make this a little bit larger. Okay, let's move this over here. Oopsie. I always start with desktop first when I'm designing. When I'm coding, it's in CSS, that is mobile first, right? Then we use media queries to work our way up from there. Now, this right here, this advanced front end, I'm planning on putting type here possibly. So let me go over my CSS course page and get some type that's already situated. Um, okay, we have something very interesting down here, perhaps. All righty. So what I could do up here with this area, I have a cool animation for advanced front ends that I built in CSS. And so I could probably make that appear with that logo animation and then use split type, which is something that's taught in the course itself to make this text animate in a very interesting way. Of course, I'm gonna change the verbiage of it, but I think that could be a possible cool idea. Let me show you if I can find it, the little animation I'm talking about. That's not it. It's right here. Okay. So yeah, that was in CSS, and I just kind of did a screencast. So if I show you again, it comes in like that. That's using split type as well. You push that arrow in and then push it over there, and that's all with green sock as well. Okay. Um, so we're making progress here. We have our early access. Let's see here. I feel like something like really cool visual should be down here in this section, and then having the call to action be prominently displayed in that area. The question is what can I put here? Now, if you look at the current advanced front ends landing page where I collect the email addresses, I don't really like it that much. I put it together pretty quickly. Um, and we have this sort of thing. These mock-up screens that are placed there and they're animated. I could do that sort of thing, but I would have to sit here in the context of this stream trying to create everything from scratch. It would take too long. So I'm actually I'm thinking about experimenting, and this is a guilty pleasure with AI with Midjourney and seeing if it can come up with something that's abstract enough just to give me a general idea. Doesn't mean I'm going to use it. I can integrate it here and make it look really cool. That could be a potential win. So this is just kind of brainstorming. We'll figure out what makes sense here in a bit. So let's just go ahead into our Discord, and I have my own little. You don't see it right now. You see it in a second. My Midjourney situation here. Let's go ahead over here. Okay, so Midjourney, you could see. I use this a lot. This is actually assets that I created for a course, the Advanced Frontends course, with that slider, that horizontal slider. So let's think about here. Let's do imagine, and that's how you prompt Midjourney. I'm going to say we'll do something like um, 3D isometric wireframes, dark background, version 5.2, AR 16.9. Let's see what happens with that. All right, I'm going to check out some of your comments. People probably talking crap. How many projects? Already answered that one. Um, Is it wrong to sometimes eyeball the dimensions and measurements when, say, working on a landing page design? It depends on the context of the situation. You'll find that I don't use like a grid system. I'm not always like just putting guides and rulers everywhere because I also handle the front end of my projects for the most part for the HTML and CSS, and I know what I want and I know what I want to how I can do it. So usually, if you're working with a separate front end developer, that's where you have to kind of get more specific, with how you're choosing the layout, stuff like that. Have I designed a mobile app, or do you mean for this project specifically? Yeah, so the discounted price will probably be somewhere in the range of 60 or $70, I'm thinking. This is Jimmy, long time no see. We are both from there. What does that mean? Jimmy who? All right, let's check it out. Oh, geez, look at this. Now, what would be awesome is if these were animated. Like, if these could really animate I was actually kinda thinking, "Yeah, something like this," but if they were animated, that would be awesome. Um, let's roll with it, though, to see if we can integrate this in a way that looks good. Um, one thing that I'm looking at, however, is that I want these to be integrated seamlessly, and if I zoom up and I pinpoint a few things that are considerations, like say for instance, we want to use this thing or something. It's I wouldn't use it in production. This is just for ideas. Notice how the gradient here is fade. It cuts off from this image. You're going to have to deal with that because it may not look good. Now, of course, we can use Photoshop to really fix this to make it seamless. So I'm not really too concerned about that. Um, but we'll see if I can try to I'm trying to think about, the direction I wanna take this. This one's pretty cool over here. Let's just do UpRes version 3. Hello, Arjan. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce your name. How to approach learning animations? Well, it depends on the type, start off with CSS animations for sure, and then work your way up with, something like GreenSock Animation Platform, which is what my course will be covering. Yeah, I probably would not use this, but it's just for inspiration for this landing page. I think we're gonna try to take this perhaps into Photoshop, and I'm gonna work with it so that we can integrate this more seamlessly, inside of the context of our project, which, those filtering in and out looks like this at the moment. So I'm imagining it, maybe it could be like, kind of like underneath here. If I were to paste this now, we can kind of get a good idea, a decent idea of what it could look like. Let's see here. This isn't even in. There we go. All right, so I'll put it at the very bottom. And one thing I definitely want to do though is we want to structure this so that this area here, the backgrounds match. I want the backgrounds to match essentially. Um, so I got to think about how I want to handle that. Of course, this doesn't look good at all. Let's move this off. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go to Photoshop. Thank you, can do. I didn't get any water. Unbelievable. New file. Let's create. Let's paste. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to here, Figma. We're gonna grab the background color, go back to Photoshop, and I'm gonna get the paint bucket tool. I'm gonna paint that background right there. And we're gonna see what, the object selection tool does. It's probably not gonna work very well because there's just crap everywhere. So if I just delete whatever it came oopsie, I did it on the wrong element. There we go. If I just do this, and then I Control C to copy, and then we delete it. Oh, geez, yeah. So, like, if I just paste that, it looks good at the bottom, but not so much at the top. So it depends on how we wanna, tackle this area, this black area. So, you have a few routes here within Photoshop. I'm not a Photoshop expert anymore. I used to be, uh, so my skills are a little bit rusty. You could do just a general fade off the top, in this area, like, if we just fade it off, and then maybe even make the fade bigger. And here's the thing, we don't have to bake the fade into here. We could just use a layer on top of it in Figma that will fade off to a greater degree. So I'm talking about like 1300 pixel and then have the text up here. That's a possible solution. I feel like this background color is not correct though. Let me go back here. Yeah, that is absolutely not correct. Okay, so let me fill that in with the appropriate background color. There we go. Okay. So I think what I'll do is I'm gonna just hide this portion. I'm gonna save it. It could be cleaned up, but again, I don't have time in the context of this relatively short live stream. So I'm gonna it should look pretty good for the most part though. So I'm gonna do YouTube. Where am I gonna save this at? So that's on my YouTube folder. We'll just do BP, city, whatever. And of course, you would definitely want to shrink the heck out of this. This is just, it's a massive file. So let me go back to here. I'm going to delete. Well, I could change it from here. Let's see here. We got, where's my YouTube at? All right. So what we could do, take a rectangle on top. We'll change this to a gradient. I think I may have to fix that real quick and another additional fix, but no big deal. We'll make the gradient start there. This should also be the same color, except yeah, I need to fix that real quickly. Let me go over to Photoshop. Again, this is just for fun. I'm probably not gonna keep this. That ain't gonna work. Let's try to think about the best way to try to get rid of that dark spot. I may just have to bake it in, and just feather those corners out. So I'm thinking maybe a size of like 800. This is a large feathered area, brush rather. Let's see what this ends up looking like. Get rid of any hard edges. Right. Now, tiny PNG is what you want to use if you ended up using something like this. PG City. See what it looks like now. So let's update it. Okay, so now if we take this, there's two things I need to select. So this has to go underneath. And again, I could like situate it over here. What would be really cool is if I had this, if I spent the time to try to animate certain elements here. I think that could be really cool. Take both of these and just group them. Oopsie. There we go. Okay. And front ends. Now, remember, I had trying to think how I want to approach this. There's a million different ways that I could place this layout. So what I'll typically do is just, all right, here's one potential area where we have some text right here, perhaps the call to action. But I do like experimenting with other layout ideas that possibly work. So, maybe we could do, let's see, bring both of these up. All righty. I don't like that. What I think I want to do is, let's see here. Oh, they look like a continuation of each other. Look at that. Oh, oh well. Trying to think here. How do I want to approach this? I kind of want to give a few more tidbits, maybe like a three column approach of just like the features. Let's do a more maybe traditional layout approach as well. So I'll take this. I'm going to move this like here. Perhaps we'll get that line back. Maybe we'll do like a dynamic countdown because this is like a week-long event. So maybe we could throw this over here, or maybe not. I don't know. This is the process of me designing. It's not, it's not straightforward. I'm always screwing around, coming up with something that I hope will work. Um, so I think we could do something like a countdown. Um, let's see here. Early access ends, and then like we could do a JavaScript dynamic countdown, like 7 days, and I wanna think here how I wanna do this. Okay, so let's do numeric values. We're gonna make these larger, 7. You could do some definitely cool animations with this. So here's our value, and then our label is just gonna be days, but not, SpongeBob case. And it's gonna be much smaller, so we're talking about, like, 16, and then we're also talking about, mm, maybe regular, and we also are going to text transform uppercase right here. I can go even smaller with this, right? And again, I may not keep this. 16 hours. Now I'm gonna experiment with this layout. I don't entirely like it. We could do something like this. Move these underneath. Alrighty. And then we'll do minutes. Again, I'm not tied to this. I may change up some things. Early access, maybe we'll say ends. Move these up a bit. All right, that's kind of cool. It's still leaving something to be desired over here. Let's think here. I could also take these and decrease the opacity, or not the opacity, but the contrast a bit, so it really focuses attention on the actual values up here that will be dynamic and live. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I might just keep those. I'll keep those white, I think. It would be nice for alignment to ensure that the logo and the bottom of these values here, the labels, are on the same base right there, pretty much. I don't like the empty space over here. I think it would be weird to have a join today button right up here, though. Um, hmm, that's dumb. That would be really dumb to put that there. Let's work with this text right here. Build advanced, and then JavaScript, green sock. 3JS. All right. Build advanced front end with Gary Simon by learning JavaScript, GreenSock, 3JS, and more. All right. By the way, at this point in the course, what I have done so far, 3JS is not in it yet, but I will be including chapters for that. And it's not going to be extremely complex, like really diving into real far. Like we won't be messing with shaders and stuff much. But you're definitely going to learn how to integrate 3D and also control those 3D elements with the help of GreenSock. All right. Trying to think about how I want to approach this. I know this layout is kind of bothering me up here, and I'm not sure how I want to handle it. I don't think I should extend out into that. I could just take all this stuff, kind of put it right there. Mhm. I kind of wanted to have a couple, like I said, a couple cards perhaps, but this is in the way over here. So just reading this, what's your frames width and margin? For desktop here, I'm working on a width of just 1256. This margin may not even, let's see here. Yeah, it's even. I'm not sure what the margins are currently. It's at 160 pixels essentially. Alrighty. Let's see what I have going here so far. Advanced front ends. Like I said, I like to have options, as you can see. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I put in a card. Might make sense to put this here, possibly. Have these elements kind of like maybe right aligned. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Let's see, like this. Now we can really help to structure this right column. All right. Very minimal corners. And then the color. The old age question, what color should your card panels be based on the background in which they're sitting? This here is acceptable if you want to do this. Make it slightly lighter. And then if you want to make it slightly darker, you can do that. I typically, more often than not, will make my low contrast, like card backgrounds and stuff like this. I will make those slightly lighter than the background in which they're sitting, and then just leave it at that. I typically don't do shadows and stuff like that. Um, Although you could, it's not like a huge deal. We could have two cards like this, maybe staggered. Again, like the size of this thing over here, I don't want it to become too much of an afterthought, but yeah, we're still just experimenting. And so I should probably put just two like important feature blips right here. Um, and it could be focused on the technology that I'm teaching. Like green sock, perhaps we could put there. What about the early access section between the call to action and the hero subtitle section? My brain's being slow right now, trying to imagine what exactly you're talking about, but that's okay. um, so let me try to work on these cards a little bit, typographically speaking. Let me go back to my CSS course page. Maybe I'll go grab the green sock logo. Images. I'm just looking at this stuff right now. Hold on. Oh, the almighty green sock character. That's large. Like 18 on that. That's huge. These cards are rather small. All right. So what should I put here? Harness the power of green sock to unleash ult- the ultimate. It's a little bit salesy. I All right. So unleash the power of green sock. Wait, no. Harness the power of green sock to unleash the ultimate freedom when building interactive UI. Something stupid like that. Whatever. Uh, then I do want to include green sock as or 3JS as well. So let me go find that logo. 3JS logo. Images. Just dragging these images onto my desktop on my other monitor, and we're gonna get them. Oh my God, that's large. Look at that. That's an idea. All right. Now, 3JS, here's the thing. Somebody might join the course early during the early access period and expect to see 3JS if I don't mention it here. And it's not integrated into the course yet, but it will be. But that's still should be something that's mentioned. Um, so I can do maybe a small tag of sorts. All right. So I can put something like um, 3D. Okay. Something like that. That's fine. And I'm going to put coming soon, perhaps. Maybe I'll grab this, put it to the front. Something like this. We'll change the background color. Gonna get the one it's sitting on, and then maybe just make it slightly lighter, just like that. All right. All right. Where are you at from Ohio? Are you like in my, are you the person that's in my city? Girard? Yes, I live in Girard, Diana area. Awesome. Okay. All right. So let's see what we have and see if there's maybe a better integration of what I'm looking to do here. Um, Kinda like this, that I don't like the fact that, it makes sense to put a call to action here. And again, like, I'm not keeping this, it's just kind of like a placeholder. Makes sense to have a join today right there. I think it does. Of course, when this stuff another thing that I typically do, depending on the layouts and also because I handle my own front end development typically, I won't always just, like, create the tablet version or and the mobile version because I can understand how this stuff will look and how it works on mobile first. So, for instance, like, if I use this layout, on desktop, we have 2 columns here, but I understand that, when it starts out, like, on a phone, the first element's gonna be this logo, the second is gonna be this element, this little headline subheadline, and then the early access stuff right here, should I choose to show that, would naturally flow underneath it with a join today button. And then underneath that, we would have this, and they may or may not include the image. Sometimes I'll real quickly will create a mobile version just to be certain of what makes the most sense, but you don't always have to. Everybody, like, a lot of beginners think you have to follow these certain conventions, like, you have to have a wireframe first. No, you don't. You have to do X, Y, and Z. Like, you have to have a full you have to have a style guide. You don't. Not to get started, you really don't need that type of thing. Okay. Um, it is redundant to have this join today here. We already have one in the headline, so I don't think we need that. What I may do underneath this portion is I could do something like this, assuming this is an image or something similar that I will use. I can just put this to the back, grab that color, make it slightly lighter, or we could just go high contrast and make it white. So what I'm talking about is like that. Kind of cool to have like this sort of a extended out version. And again, it doesn't have to be high contrast. That's a stylistic preference. It could be low contrast. This line right here as well. Um, So for this particular landing page, just for the 1 week early access period, I'm not gonna go too crazy, with, like, a lengthy page. I might have just one more section under here, talking about the course, and then another call to action section at the bottom, trying to get people to join now. I may just, have this information laid out differently except across the bottom in a single row, 2-column approach perhaps. So what that might look like is take all this stuff up, maybe down here. Um, I could perhaps this over here, join today, do a 3-column approach even with kind of like a secondary H2 element. Let's go back to my CSS course, that type. Oops, wrong thing. Okay, there we go. Start learning today or something like that. We could put this here and this 3-column approach thing right here. I don't know if I really like that though. These are all centered vertically, but if I push this up a little bit too busy. I'm not sure. Um, we could take another approach to this, and we could go 2 rows, and then sub-headline. Trying to think about how I wanna do this. Gain permanent access. Sorry, you probably can't read this. So join today to start taking the course while it's being finished. You gain permanent access to the fully finished course along with future updates or something like that. I just wanted to have some room to fill this out, assuming I put this to the if I write a line this essentially. Right, come over here, get this edge found. There we go. Don't wanna make this too large either. Something like that. This could work, although this feels out of place. So we could group well, we could also do something like this. Take our line, make this white. And we could do something like that. Let's delete these. Then that just kinda leaves the middle section, although, I'm gonna make that border white. This one should be white as well. So we can pull this up, okay? What is up, Yella? Again, I'm not gonna be using this. Something will be here. And again, I may not even use this structure of the layout and I'm just screwing around. So I want something interesting um, in this section right here. And I need to address a few key points that the visitors who are visiting this, the potential customers of the course, will address questions and curiosities that they have. Um, it might make sense to also embed a video that will kinda show the projects. It could be the announcement video that I make. I'll probably just embed it, if not here, then in another section. But I think that would yeah, I think a video would really make sense. That way people can actually see what's happening, in the course, what type of projects there are. So video is a great way just to educate people, that's for sure. Hmm, hmm, yeah. How long have I been streaming, by the way? I don't even know. Where is it at? Oh, 57 minutes. Look at that. So I'm probably just gonna end it here, because I do have, some ideas and starting points, and that's all I kinda wanted to achieve in this very quick, hour or so. Um, what's exciting is, yeah, 1 week. 1 week from today, Wednesday, it is going to be released for the 1 week early access period. Again, it is at the time of recording this, we're at 3 hours and 40 minutes. With the free JavaScript course, it's actually 2.5 hours on top of that. I'm anticipating the full length of the course will probably be at least, 9 to 10 hours, maybe longer, because some of these projects get pretty in depth when you're dealing with a lot of code. Like I have to show that, a lot of the simple projects in the beginning of the course. I don't show the HTML and CSS like writing it from scratch. I do cover it, and you do have access to it. I follow along, but some of the more advanced projects, I do want to kind of. I'm going to start covering all the stuff from scratch because when it comes to creating these type of animations and these interactions, having a solid understanding of what's happening in the DOM, like your HTML structure, is very important, along with your CSS. So all this stuff kind of goes hand in hand. So yeah, very excited about this. This landing page will be ready next Wednesday, and for everybody to take the course at a discounted rate. Again, I'm not sure what that rate's going to be, but it'll be somewhere around the $60 to $70 range for one-time fee, permanent access to really start creating and designing awesome front ends. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and I will see you. Oh, somebody is asking a question. What's your approach on using? Why is this thing in a way? It's not like showing me the text. Can I zoom up? I guess I'll just have to copy it and then paste it in a notepad to read fully the message. What's your approach on using pre-made UI element kits as a senior designer? Okay, well, I I personally haven't I don't use, pre-made UI element kits. I just I usually just design from scratch. Do I have a problem with using them or no? Not really. It's just not like my cup of tea typically. But certainly certain projects will warrant that, especially if you're joining a project that's already using it. Or if you're somebody who's just not great at UI design, completely makes sense to, purchase or utilize in some fashion, a really well-established UI that's well designed. So I have no problems with that. Alrighty. So didn't quite finish it, but we have a good start. So can't wait. And I will see you all very soon, probably with a new video either tomorrow on the YouTube channel or the next day. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. End stream.